How to set up zones from the Mitsubishi Electric Wi-Fi app. To begin with, you will need to download the app, open the settings menu and select the network tab. Inside the network tab, select the Bluetooth tab. This will bring up a QR code which will take you to the App Store. Once downloaded, the app connects to the controller via Bluetooth for the installer setup, so you do not need an account or connection to the customer's Wi-Fi. Open the app and select the Installation Setup tab at the bottom of the menu. This will bring up a menu for home users and certified installers. Select I understand, continue. This will bring up two options for setting up the zone controller. Zone controller for connecting to the Mr. Slim PEA and PEAD ducted indoor units, or zone controller with City Multi for connection with the PEFY ducted indoor units. Select the appropriate option for the indoor unit attached to the zone control interface. This will bring up a notification page indicating that the network menu on the main controller needs to be kept open to connect to the controller's Bluetooth. Follow slides 1 to 3 which show how to get to this menu. Select Connect via Bluetooth. This will bring up a page with a list of Bluetooth active controllers. The main controller's network page displays a unique zone controller ID. Select the controller ID from the app. The connection to the controller may take a few moments. Once connected, select Setup Controller Wizard. Step 1. This will bring up a walkthrough guide. If this is your first time setting up the Mitsubishi Electric Zone controller, it is recommended to read through this guide so you can prepare for the next steps in the process. Select Next. Step 2. This is the sensor page that will show all wired sensors and controllers connected to the system. Note that the wireless sensors have yet to be connected, so will not be displayed yet. Ensure any controller or sensor you will be assigning to a zone is ticked. Select Next. Step 3. Pairing wireless sensors. On this page, change the slider from No to Yes to indicate the use of the wireless sensor or the wireless zone remote controller. If no, the wireless components are not being used, select Next. If yes, the wireless receiver setup tab will appear. The default setting is auto pairing. This allows the wireless receiver to pair multiple components, one after another, is one scan, and is the recommended method. This can be changed to target an individual pairing ID if required. Select Start Pairing. When pairing wireless components, it is important to allow one component to finish pairing before starting the next. For details on how to set the wireless sensor and wireless zone remote controller to pairing mode, see the links in the description for how to install the wireless sensor and how to install the wireless zone remote controller. The pairing process can take several minutes. The app will display found sensors periodically. Select Stop Pairing. Select Next. Step 4. This will bring up the Zone Setup menu. Select Zone 1. Use the slider to select Yes to enable the zone you are configuring. The first box indicates the zone name. The default is set from Zone 01 to Zone 10. This can be edited to reflect any name the end user specifies within the character count. Next, use the plus and minus buttons to select the number of outlets in this zone. Then scroll down to the list of sensors. Select the sensor or sensors if more than one will be assigned to the zone so that the tick is shown. If you are using the wireless zone remote controllers, they will only appear on the selectable sensor list for the zone number that matches the pairing ID of the controller. Then scroll down to the damper settings. Use the plus and minus buttons to set the stroke time of the damper motor if known. If this is not known, the drop down below this can be used to convert the RPM of the damper motor to the stroke time in seconds. For more details, see the link in the description for how to determine stroke time. Once set, continue down to the maximum and minimum opening position for the damper. Use the plus and minus buttons to set these values in 5% increments to achieve the maximum and minimum airflow required for the zone. Note, These settings can be changed in the air balancing step from this app after setup, so long as the stroke time is set accurately. Next, indicate if this zone is to be set as a spill zone. For more details on spill zones, see the link below for Spill Zones Explained. Repeat this step for all zones being set up in the system. Step 5. This step is to indicate if a common zone is being used in the system. If No is selected on the slider, skip this step. If Yes is selected, indicate how many outlets are in the common zone. Then scroll down and select the sensor or controller that will be assigned to the common zone. For more details on common zones, see the link in the description for Common Zones Explained. Step 6. This step is the interface function settings of the system spill zone. If you do not have a spill zone, skip this step. If you do have one or more spill zones, the first menu needs to be set to match the number of outlets collectively in all spill zones. This needs to be set accurately, as it will affect how the spill zone operates when set to dynamic control. In the next menu, indicate if the extended tolerance is needed in the system for correct airflows. The last menu is to set dynamic spill zone control, which is the recommended setting, or static control. For more details, see the link in the description for Spill Zone Explained. Select Next. Step 7. This step is for connection to the Mr. Slim series ducted units only for adjusting function settings. For City multi-units, function settings are adjusted via dip switch settings on the indoor unit's PCB. If you are connected to a City multi-unit, skip this step. This menu is the indoor unit function settings. First, select the indoor unit model number the zone interface is connected to. It is important to select the indoor model accurately, as this will determine the function settings available. Next, use the calculated static pressure of the system to identify the closest static pressure setting for the indoor unit to ensure correct airflow. Next, indicate if the filter warning is to be used and the time frame for the notification. The next two settings control what the indoor fan speed does during thermal off operation, when the room reaches temperature, in cooling and heating. In colder climates, it is common to set the fan to stop during thermal off operation in heating. Select Next. Step 8. This menu allows you to put in a support contact number if required, and input the MAC address of a Wi-Fi interface if one is connected to the system. Select Next. Step 9. Select Save Settings to the controller. This will transmit all the zone settings, functions, and any indoor unit function settings that have been changed to the system. This can take several minutes. Once the transmission is complete, the standard settings menu will appear without the wizard walkthrough. You can access all settings, including the Quick Air Balance function, from this menu. The Quick Air Balance function allows you to adjust the maximum opening of the dampers as you do the air balancing from the phone, rather than having to manually adjust the dampers in the ceiling. Once complete, select Back to Setting, and if any adjustments were made, select Save Settings to Controller. If not, select Controller menu and return to the Installer main page of the app. Finally, if you have a subcontroller connected to the system, you will need to update the zone names on the subcontroller separately. Open the app and select the Installation Setup menu. This will bring up the menus for home users and for certified installers. In the Home Users section, select Zone Controller Settings and follow the instruction to open the Network tab of the subcontroller in the Settings menu. This activates the Bluetooth signal. Once done, select Connect via Bluetooth and select the controller that matches the ID on the subcontroller screen. This may take a few moments to connect. Once connected, select Change Zone Names from the menu. This will bring up a list of zones that have been set up. Select the zone you wish to rename, and type in the required zone name within the character limit. Once the zones have been renamed, select Save Settings to Controller. Once saved successfully, select Continue or Back to Settings. This completes the setup of the zone control system.